Everyone, and thank you for joining our event on Tuesday morning. I know it's a little bit damp outside, but we have you for an hour, so I'm very excited about that. I wanted to cover the agenda and what the hour is going to look like. So on our next slide, I'll just cover that quickly. So we heard from Sonia a couple minutes ago, and I wanted to share a bit about RBC and RBC Meeting Place. And then our esteemed guest, Christine Canary, who is a senior IBM consultant, she is here to share her proven branding strategies for her successful career in Canada. And I've known Christine for quite some time. She is an ACCES alum, which she will talk about in a bit. And we will have a Q&A piece with her after her conversation, and then we will actually have our wrap up. So that's what the hour is going to look like. But firstly, I wanted to share a bit about myself so you'll know who are your guest speakers today. And on our next slide, I just wanted to say good morning again, and thank you for joining this wonderful collaboration with ACCES and RBC Meeting Place. My name is Ria. I am a digital banking advisor, and I represent RBC and RBC Meeting Place. So when I came to Canada, I had many challenges, and I quickly needed to adapt to my new home. I'm very thankful to have joined RBC within that same year. Here, I was able to build my personal and my professional connections. Now, as a banking advisor, I'm connected to the key services for the newcomer community, which is how we help our clients thrive and the newcomer community prosper. We have a wide range of network of community partners like Access Employment and extensive resources that we can call upon to connect our newcomers with, depending on their need. I truly enjoy being present in the community to create such awareness, especially because we get to work with wonderful organizations like Access Employment, who also empower the newcomers. And here we are, bringing another segment, these proven strategies by Christine, personal branding strategies. And I have seen firsthand how successful Christine have been, and I know she'll continue to shine in her new home of Canada as well. So I do look forward, and I'm very excited for you guys to hear from her today. And just a bit about RBC on our next slide. It is an organization about 80,000 employees who we're all guided by one set of values. First and foremost is the value we place on our clients. We put our clients first each and every time. We collaborate with our partners both internally and externally. And we work together as one RBC to make sure our clients and our communities prosper. I'm very passionate about our strong value we place on diversity and inclusion. To me, it's one of the most, it's more than just our value as an organization. It's the strength that we bring at RBC. It's one of the ways we bring RBC's purpose of helping our clients thrive and our communities prosper come to life. We strive to be among the world's most trusted and successful financial institutions. We're proud of the progress that we've made thus far, and we're motivated by the future and what will come. We know that everyone at RBC has different experiences and different perspectives, which is why we work to leverage this to create a safe, productive, and inclusive workplace to support our community where we live and work. And a bit about my team. It is a small team, as you can see on my next slide. It includes our community market manager, Jeff Price, and Nazanin, our assistant branch manager, and myself. We are a small team. However, we work with the same objective of wanting to give back to the newcomer and our community. And then we do have an extensive support team on our next slide, ranging from the different departments and the different branches. Collectively, we all possess so many different skills and expertise, but we're brought together as one RBC because we share the same passion of wanting to pay it forward and give back to the community. But we could not have done this without our community partners. On our next slide, we're so grateful to have community partners like ACCES, one of our key partners throughout this journey. Together, we reach out and have those meaningful connections to have a greater impact in our newcomer community. And since we opened our doors early 2019, we were able to create such awareness through our events and our community involvement. Here are a few of the in-person ones that we've had in 2019 that we've hosted and facilitated. It was great having them in person. But now, if you fast forward a bit to March of 2020, we've taken our reach digitally. And we facilitate all our events like we are today. We've had many, including financial literacy events ranging from investments, from mortgages, fraud prevention, job search, role discovery, and many more. With these events, we're able to provide a deeper understanding and give the advice beyond banking. At the meeting place, my colleague Nazanin and I, we're both advisors at RBC, and we can help you with all your banking needs. We've done so especially for our clients that have recently arrived in Canada and that were in quarantine as well. We can definitely take care of your banking needs, and we're just a quick phone call away. So now, without further ado, I wanted to hand it over to Christine for her proven personal branding strategies for a successful career in Canada. So over to you, Christine.
Thank you so much, Ria, and welcome everybody. It's so great to be here this Tuesday. Sorry, the days are just flying by, but Tuesday morning for us here in Canada, and from wherever you're watching, whichever time zone, welcome. And we're so glad that you're here today and you've taken this time to invest in yourself and your preparation to come over to Canada, or if you're already here, we're so glad to have you here. So today I'm going to be talking about proven personal branding strategies for a successful career in Canada. And a lot of these are strategies I have used from my experiences, as well as a few of my friends. So just to go through a bit about my journey so far. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So I am Indian by ethnicity. So I was born in India, completed my bachelor's in engineering. For those of you who are from India, if you know Bangalore, that's where I did my bachelor's. I then did my master's in information systems, after which I moved to Canada and I did a course in cybersecurity at Seneca and ACCESS Employment, which I will be talking about quite a bit, because that was really a place where it changed my career and helped me be more successful in the dream career I had imagined for myself here in Canada. And it's been 3 years since I have been, since I landed in Canada, 3 years and a month or so. And man, it's been a journey. I would be lying if I say it was all bed of roses, but trust me, the roller coasters have been worth every bit of the bump on the way, because it has helped me grow. It has helped me learn so much. And I've had some amazing experiences, built some amazing friendships. And I think coming here was one of the best decisions I made, for both personally, for my career, for my family. Some of my favorite things in Toronto, I love the harbor front. If you're thinking of the first place you should visit, my personal favorite is the harbor front. It's just a beautiful place. I love spending evenings there, going for walks, and having some good hot dogs on the way and beaver still. And I also love hanging out with my friends. I'm a huge foodie. I do communication coaching, as well as a lot of volunteering activities. So that's a bit about myself. The next slide, please. So here's a bit of a journey I put together to see what it was for me to come to Canada. So as I mentioned, I was born in India. I worked in consulting for a while at Deloitte, after which I knew that I wanted to improve my consulting skills. That's where I went to Australia. I studied at the University of Melbourne, after which I went on an exchange program to the United States. I studied at Carnegie Mellon, the Tepper School of Business, which really gave me an interesting view of different ways in which the business operates. And what I thought was, hey, I've been in the US, I've studied, I've worked, it must be the same in Canada. But no, I was in for a surprise. Canadian work culture, the Indian work culture, the Australian, the American, all are so different, and each bring in their own uniqueness into the picture. And this is what taught me to really look at things from a global perspective. And that's why I love doing this seminar with a number of different teams, because I bring in the experience I've had from these different parts, and it's good to learn the different personal branding strategies, but differ from place to place. So if we go to the next slide, please. So before I start off, I want to break some common myths that we have with coming and working in Canada. So a lot of these are from what I initially taught, and as well as what I hear my friends or people who I mentor talking about. The first one is we all need Canadian experience in order to get a job. Well, that's not completely true. It might depend from industry to industry, but do not let this stop you from either taking that first move to come to Canada or from finding a job. There are many ways in which you could tackle this. Volunteering, doing a course here in Canada, or just learning more about the Canadian work culture and implementing it, knowing how to not I'm going to use the wrong word here, but knowing how to portray yourself in your resume, on your social media, all these are great ways in which to combat that part of not having Canadian experience. The other thing that I personally experienced was if I just apply for jobs online, it would work. Like it's easy to get a job. Trust me, I tried 2 months sitting in Starbucks applying for jobs, and guess what? I did not even get one job offer. I was applying for 200 jobs and I sent in 200 applications. It was not working. So I realized that's not the solution. And when I actually went and tried to see what is the issue, that's what I realized. This one thing about the Canadian work culture, which is so different, which is networking is so important. And in the place from I come from India, networking is not that important to find a job. And that's what I realized from a few of my friends from international locations as well. So that's one myth I want to break before we start the session. Online job applications alone would work. That is not true. We need to put in some more efforts with ways in which you could excel to find that first job. Non-native English speakers, it's difficult to find a job. That's not true as well. There are so many opportunities, and there's a place for everyone in this beautiful country. Networking is waste of time. Again, that's absolutely not true. Ria and people who know me know this. I'm an advocate for networking because it changed my career so much, and I was not a person who is pro networking, but this is one thing I had to learn, and it changed my life. So I'm gonna show you a lot of things how I implemented these this part of personal branding and networking in order to build a career here in Canada. Next slide, please. All right, so personal branding is really important because it helps you stand out from your competition. In Canada, we have so many people coming from so many different walks of life, coming with so many different skills, and it's kind of a huge and a tough market to break into just because of the competition. And I feel so privileged when I work with different people in my team and in my company, because I get to work with some of the best minds out here and get to learn some of the things which I would not have in a normal context, because I really get to work with people from all over the world, bringing in their skills into our workplace. And so there is a lot of competition. So it all depends on you and I as to how we stand out. And that's what I'm going to help you, you navigate today. How would you stand out through this competition? It is possible, but you just need the small strategies in order to navigate that. The first one is establish your name. People need to know who you are. And one of my mentors and sponsors as well, she tells me this. She's like, Christine, You don't ask, you don't get. And so it's very important in order to establish our careers here, we got to be proactive and ask and reach out to people and make your name established in your community, in your when I say community, in your career community. For example, I am in cybersecurity, and this is a field I'm passionate about, I want to grow in. And so it's important for me to get my name established in my community of cybersecurity. And that's in order with networking events and in approaching people for mentorship, growing in this industry. So establishing your name is very important. It's not more of you sit back, people approach you. We got to be proactive, and that's how you establish your name. Second is showcasing your professional skill sets. That's very important because it's not just what's on your resume, but it's on showing what you can bring to the table. And this was something that I found very useful in so many different cases where it's not an interview setting, but for example, you're going for a networking event, or you are going to give a talk somewhere, or you're participating in an online competition. All these ways in which you showcase your skills, and people are observing, people are watching, and they are seeing for the best talent in the room. So that's really important in order to put your best game forward and showcase your professional skill sets every place we get an opportunity to. Build a strong professional network. This was something that I realized 3 months after I joined, and I took this very seriously because I saw the difference it was making. So how did I build my professional network? Is attending both in person as well as online networking events. I made it a point that when I went to these events, I talked to people, understood what their career progression was, learned from them, and also was open to share my career story, my journey as to what I have done so far and what I could bring to the table. But it was not all the time about me, right? It was also about how the industry is growing, and gaining those skill sets was a huge benefit to both me as well as for people who you would interact with, because remember, people would always know and recognize you, and even through conversations, and when they gain something interesting that you could bring to the table, they will remember at the right time. So building this professional network is very important. And be trusted and marketable in the job market. Again, that happens through building connections and people knowing you. Because in Canada, one thing I've realized, a lot of hiring is done through referrals. And I have seen this over and over again. So being a trusted professional that people could step up and say, yes, I can refer this person, is something that is highly valuable. And the next one is being a person of influence, bringing something to the table in order to make a difference in the place you are in. That has had a huge value to your personal brand. So these are some things. If you don't take away anything from this session, I would request you just have these in your back pocket to know that some of the things that you absolutely require to build your career is to have a personal brand for you. Next, please. All right. So for some of you here, you know what you're good at. You say, this is where I want to build my career in. I want to be a digital marketer. Like, that's my career. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I want to do. But for some of you, you're not really sure. You're still navigating through your career. For some who were like me when I initially came to Canada, I wanted to do a career change. I was in application management and I wanted to move into cybersecurity. I had to navigate what I wanted to do. Canada is a land of opportunities, so many different opportunities that you could tap into. Unlike a few countries where once you start your career, you have to go further and end your career in that particular field. But what I've seen is that's not how it is in Canada. I've seen people do multiple career changes. Now, that could be advantages and disadvantages, but a lot of times it is a huge advantage where when you're not really passionate about something, but you just wanted to try it, but you want to change your career, even if you're 5-10 years in, there is an opportunity to do that. Find your area of expertise. What do you love to do? And this might not just be technical skills. This could even be management skills or just life skills or core technical skills as well. If you like programming, what kind of stuff do you like to do? Do you like to work in healthcare? Do you like to work in aeronautics? And then dive into that specialization. Another tip for a person who has immigrated to Canada is back in my home country, we were jack of all. Like we could do everything. I could do management consulting. I could do technology consulting. I could do so many different things. And when I came to Canada, actually, I attended an event by RBC, RBC sponsored event. And I was talking to a HR and I was like, well, I did technology application management. I have done my master's, so I can do management consulting. I gave her 3-4 things I can do. And she just listened to me patiently and she asked me, Christine, what is the one thing you have experience in, you're passionate about, and you want to build your career in? And that was an aha moment for me. I was like, no, I can do everything. She's like, no, what is that one thing? And I had to sit back and think about what was that one thing that I was really good at doing and I wanted to build my career in. And that's what, if you haven't come to Canada as yet, I would encourage you to go through that thinking and look at what are your skill sets? What skill sets can you bring to the table? What's your experience? What are you passionate about? And look at how you want to build your career that way. I've also seen people, a lot of my friends in banking industry, they do everything in the bank. But when they come here and they show that on their resume, it's kind of difficult for them to find that job because when you are looking for jobs here, you have one specific role that they want you to do and do it well. So that's a tip from personal experience. Find your niche that would help you immensely in your job search. Now, if you're looking to really grow your career and if you're not really in your early professional stage, but you know what you're doing, you want to grow, align your core values to that. See how you can add value and really go to work with that excitement of making a difference. And always have a personal story to tell that really helps even with finding a job. When you are in your interview and you have a personal story to tell, that gives an added advantage. For example, I know someone who in their interview told their interviewer, well, I really enjoy solving problems, and I have been looking at ways in which I could, like, I don't want to make this sound harsh, but in cybersecurity, you're protecting the web, and they had been ethically hacking since they were in high school. And, that was their personal story. That was what they were passionate about. And that was easy for them to find a job because they had a personal story linked with what they are looking to find a career in. Next slide, please. All right, so with all that I have talked to you so far, I hope I have established the fact that personal branding is important. You gotta know what you are good at. Finding your niche is extremely important, as well as able to show to your sphere of influence or the the sphere of influence that you would be in the near future, what you would bring to the table, as well as have that conviction that this is what the industry or the specialization you want to grow in. And remember, it's okay to change. You don't have to do one thing for the rest of your life if you're not passionate about it. It's important to love your work and to do what you are doing well. Now, in order to do that, in order to establish a personal brand in the era we are in right now, social media is so key, and especially LinkedIn. Here's a story I'll tell you before we get into this. So my fiance recently recently got a new job that he absolutely loves, and interestingly, he never even applied for this job. All he did was he updated his LinkedIn profile, and he was happy with the job he was in, and he was doing his job and going. He's been there for a long time. A recruiter contacted him and said, "Hey, do you want to have a conversation?" And he did not know where this came from. But then he realized that they looked at his LinkedIn profile and they went through it. And even without him applying for that job, he got this interview and he went through all the different rounds. And later he got the job, which, was his, it was his, I don't know if it was his, I think it is his dream job because he really enjoys doing what he does. So with this story, just to tell you that LinkedIn is so key because it kind of works in the background when you're not working. You might send out 100 resumes, but LinkedIn has its way in which recruiters are actively looking. And his is not the only story I have heard. In this season of, say, in the last 1 year, I've heard at least 24 stories of this where people have just been reached out, they have not applied for jobs, and they've been able to go through the interview process and get a really good job. So LinkedIn is extremely important. Make sure it's updated. It's not your resume. LinkedIn is absolutely not your resume, but it's a summary of all your skill sets, as well as maybe some volunteering activities you do, because employers would want to see who you are as a person as a whole. I've said volunteering a lot because I have realized that it is a huge importance that the employers here put in volunteering and other skill sets apart from your core work activities. Now, also with LinkedIn is be intentional. Please do not be robotic and or generic. So some of people who I've met through networking events such as these have reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you refer me?" But when I look at their LinkedIn, I was like, it's almost a cut, copy, paste of all the LinkedIn profiles I have seen. So be intentional. It adds a lot of value, especially even while sending a personal invite to someone on LinkedIn. This is again a really good tip that I have received from a mentor of mine, and I'm just passing it on. When you send in a LinkedIn invite, and I highly recommend anyone you meet, you want to connect with, send a personal LinkedIn invite and tell them a brief about yourself and why you would want to connect with them. Now, do not make it generic, do not make it robotic, but have that personal touch that plays that in your advantage for a longer run. When you're applying for jobs, make sure your Google search is clean and you have a presentable social media. I'm not a HR, but I've heard a lot of stories where HRs look through social media. I have a friend who's in HR. I thought this was a joke, but I asked her and she says, duh, that's a one-on-one of HR. They do look through your social media. So make sure you have that clean as well. Always build connections and stay in touch with LinkedIn. LinkedIn could be an amazing tool you use while keeping in touch, and don't just have LinkedIn in order to use people, because that could really turn things sour. In Canada, we have a lot of people, but the industries are small. So you might just bump into people in similar industries. I know that with cybersecurity for sure, because we are not that many people in this industry. And if I go through at least 5-6 networking events in cybersecurity, I know quite a few people. So it's important to build that connection, stay in touch, because if you're, sorry for the use of word, if you're being a jerk, your name would go through very easily, and it would spoil your image. So you want to be nice, you want to be kind, you want to be presentable and personal, and have that connection, build that connection, and stay in touch. And that would help with your personal brand. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so as I have said a lot, I don't want to emphasize more on networking, because I could emphasize forever. This is really important. Just to summarize what I've said so far, personal brand is extremely important in order for you to establish yourself in a new country, in a new career. In order to set yourself apart, it's important to build your personal brand. Have a niche, because it helps you distinguish yourself from your peers. It helps you understand your area of interest. It helps you build a career which you are passionate about. If you don't ask, you don't get. So know what you're passionate about, and understand that social media, LinkedIn, and of those forms are key to work on your behalf in order to establish your career. Your network is your net worth. It's important to find your tribe, know who is that community of people who you are working with. Is it a banking industry? Is it investments? Is it coders? Or is it health professionals? And build your connections in that community, because that would work in helping you learn more from each other, helping you advance your career, helping your career be worth it and not just be work. Find mentors and sponsors. I've realized one thing in Canada, people go out of their way to help you. And that is one of the most amazing things I have seen in Canada, where like even Ria, she's been an amazing mentor for me in so many ways. I recently switched, had an account with RBC, and Ria has been so helpful with helping navigate me through that journey of building an account, knowing is everything okay. And I'm not a finance person, like just show me what to do it and I'll do it, but amazing mentors like Ria and so many people would go out of their way to help you. Again, you don't ask, you don't get. So look out, find mentors and sponsors, and they would help you save so many years into what you put in to learn certain things. The years that they have put in, they would invest in your life. Again, they will not come to you. You have to go to them. ACCES has an amazing program for mentorship, which I have been benefited from. So definitely reach out to ACCES for that. There's another program called the TRIAC, which ACCES facilitates as well. That is especially for newcomers. Excellent program. I would highly recommend that as well. I've talked about networking events. Now be a contributor, be a giver, not just a consumer. That is seen immediately in your career growth. Where are you just consuming, just taking from people, or are you giving back as well? Each of us bring in different skill sets from our countries. So how do we contribute back to our community? Is it through volunteering? And if you're a technical person, it doesn't mean you have to volunteer only in tech. You could volunteer in other activities as well and build you connections, or just be a giver to the community, and that would help you as well in order to understand the culture. Volunteering has helped me personally to get to know so many people, understand the culture, and mostly make Canada feel like home. Canada is home for me now, and being a giver and really helping to give back has helped me more than anything else. And also your elevator pitch is really important, because when you go to a networking event, again, I won't be covering it here, but ACCES has amazing programs where they take you through building an elevator pitch. You can practice it. I know I built my elevator pitch when I was at ACCES program. So they have consultants to work with you through your resume. Again, I don't work for ACCES, but I am talking as a person who has taken their services. I have been so benefited by it, and I have recommended ACCES to any newcomer that comes in. If you're a newcomer and you talk to me, if out of this program, I promise I'll recommend ACCES to you, because I have seen it being such a blessing to my life. Again, be genuine in your connections, because people will see through it if you are not genuine. Next slide, please. All right, so here's a quick checklist. I think you'll have access to this, so I'm not going to go through this. I want to have time for question and answers. So building strategic connections, be confident and have a good time, because more than what you speak, even your confidence matters a lot. Ask for a LinkedIn connect. You don't ask, you don't get. So ask if they could be your mentors, but don't ask everyone to be your mentors. It's important to be strategic in asking and building the mentorship. Have a good personal connect the first time. Be personal with your connections. Be genuine and be present when you are at networking events, especially online. It's so easy to, I could just do this and talk to you, but that could show as being very rude. So just be present in your conversations, and especially with online now. And it's good to connect and be more strategic in replying and connecting well with the people who you are interacting with. Next slide, please. All right, so here is another slide about some of the things that are beneficial with networking. And one thing I want to stress on, I think I've covered a few here, is it helps you not just get a job. It helps you in a lot of ways as well. It helps you identify your transferable skills. It helps you know where your skills lie and how you could use them in different industries. It helps you make friends. It helps you have mentors and coaches and builds a professional network. Next slide, please. All right, so quickly, I'm going to touch upon this networking opportunities in our virtual era, because I know it's hard. When I started networking, I was there in person, and I'm not kidding you. I went at least 3 times every week. I was at a networking event, and it wasn't easy. I was terrified initially, but I really ended up loving it. And even now, I have a job. I love my career at IBM, but when opportunities come, I still go for networking events, because it's not just about the job. It's about building connections. It's about staying in touch. It's about learning from the industry and growing together with the industry. So there are a number of virtual information sessions, and such as these. So these I would call like webinars or events, online events. You could also ask for an informational interview. Now, this was something new for me when I came to Canada. So I'll just, if you don't know what it is, I'll just give you a quick 30 seconds on it. Informational interview is if you want to know about a particular topic and you just want to learn more from that person. So that, for example, Ria is in banking and I want to, I'm sorry, Ria, I'm putting you on the spot. It's just, I can see you. So I want to learn something about banking. I have been in consulting, but I want to move to banking and I want to learn what the industry is like. So I would reach out to Ria and say, hey, Ria, can we have a quick 15 minutes informational interview? I want to learn more about this particular topic, about banking from you. And just some questions, like I want to learn what it is like in your day-to-day life. What kind of clients do you interact with? And so just a few questions. And so we set up a time in, mostly it's on Zoom now or whichever media you'd like to talk over, and have a quick interview. Not it's an interview, but it's me asking Ria and not Ria interviewing me. So there's no pressure on Ria to hire me if she thinks that I'm good for the job. So that's really beneficial as well, to just build those genuine connections where you're able to share with the person you're talking to about what's your passion, as well as the interviewee, who is the person I'm asking questions to, is able to share their experience. And trust me, people love to talk about their experience and their ways in which they have grown in their career. Quick input on this. One of the jobs that I got and I did not take earlier was through an informational interview. So that definitely works. LinkedIn connections, I talked about. References, building connections helps you very in an amazing way to get references. Because when you just ask someone for a reference, no one would just give you a reference without knowing you. All right, so here are a few ways again, virtual ways in which you can connect. I think we have less time, so if you want to go back to this, you can, but we can move on to the next slide, please. All right, so I've talked a lot about my ACCESS journey. Here's a picture with my amazing cohort, which is really my first set of friends in Canada. We're still in touch. These guys have, like iron sharpens iron, they helped. They really sharpened my skills. It's a cohort with cybersecurity. We're still in touch. Most of them have got the career in consulting, cybersecurity, or security in different areas. We keep in touch. We refer each other for jobs. We really help build each other and stay connected as well. So this was very helpful for me. That first program I did with ACCESS, it helped me understand what my friends are doing, and so it just enhanced my skills, enhanced my efforts 20 times more, because it was not just what I knew, it was what 20 other people knew as well. It was an amazing group, and non-judgmental support group, where we were really there for each other and supported each other. We cried together, we celebrated together, and it was family. These guys are family to me. So, and we also helped build each other's technical skills as well. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, I would just like to, first of all, thank everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. My first thing is, guys, dream big. Don't, like, when someone told me, when you come to Canada, you need to start as low as possible and then slowly climb the ladder. That may be true, but remember, at the end of the ladder, there is your dream. Do not give up on your dream when you come to Canada. Dream big. This is a land of opportunities, but you don't ask, you don't get. You got to go and get the dream that you are coming here for. It's absolutely worth it. If you ask me if it's worth it, it's an amazing journey to reach your dream, and in order to establish yourself here. Find your niche, as I said. Be innovative. be open to learn, find mentors, and be consistent. If one doesn't work, you have 99 other options. So be consistent, keep going for it. And one thing I did not touch upon it before is don't be afraid of titles. Just because someone is a VP, it doesn't mean that you have no access to them. If you build those connections, talk to people, grow, everyone's open. So don't be afraid of titles and be intentional and genuine about networking. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And I hope this helps. Hand it over to Ria.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christine. Your final thoughts summarizes everything, and I'm always in awe, and I always have great takeaways that I share with my other newcomers, the ones that are recently landing, the ones that are already connecting with me on LinkedIn. But you always provide such great advice, and thank you for mentioning your group when you started with cybersecurity back in 2019, because that's when I met you. And we became great friends. Yes, we are all in the same group in WhatsApp, so we're still connected. And I can attest that you guys are so supportive, and you're right, non-judgmental, because this is your first group of friends in Canada when you first landed. And they will hold a special place in your heart, always. I know that. And you've always been so supportive of them. You're always sending them when IBM is hiring. I'm always peeking into the groups all the time, but I know you're always so supportive. So thank you again. You're such an amazing person. And I thoroughly enjoyed all your advice today. I hope everyone did the same, but I'll quickly move to the Q&A, and we have some questions that are directed to you and some that I can help with as well, so we'll both take charge on it. Hello, Christine. I'll be moving to Canada. This is from Dominic. I'll be moving to Canada soon, so congratulations, Dominic. How do I contact you at the RBC meeting place? So actually, Dominic, Christine is with IBM. You can definitely reach out to her. She has her contact information here on LinkedIn. She's showing you where to contact her. But Sonia, if you could move to our next slide, it does have my contact information and my colleague Nazanin, who's not here today, but she would have loved to have been here. But if you scan that barcode, you can connect with me directly at RBC Meeting Place. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And Christine is a big advocate for LinkedIn. So am I. I always talk about LinkedIn like I swear I have shares in it, but I don't. You would think so. But, LinkedIn is a great tool. I've seen, I call it the power of LinkedIn, actually, when I speak about it, because it is very powerful. And I know, Christine, you're a great advocate for it. So you can connect with us there as well, Dominic. So thank you again for your great question. So he has another question, actually. Can you include pictures from... Wait, I lost it. Can you include pictures from a hobby on LinkedIn? I participated in a theater production while at university and mentioned this in my profile, and I was told to remove it entirely. And then someone else told me not to mention it, which plays what I was involved in. What do you think, Christine?
Well, I'm not sure about the pictures because I have not added pictures on LinkedIn.
Me neither.
So
Yeah.
this is news to
Maybe
me.
Dominic taught us something.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go and see how to do that. That would be cool. But I would, so Dominic, tell me, is it pictures on your posts on LinkedIn? Like, you're posting that. I would say if you're doing that, and I've seen people do that, and personally, I'm going to tell my personal opinion. I think that's okay if you're not overloading it, like just a one-off picture where people understand who you are. That's absolutely fine. But of course, I wouldn't every week be posting pictures of where I ate, where I went to, or something like that. So if it's something that kind of shows where your interest is, where you participated, and maybe a quick note as to how that could build someone else, an information on that particular theater part. Absolutely, I would love to see that post. But it would also be nice to have in LinkedIn, they have something called volunteer or other activities, to just put a note there as to this is what you do would be nice as well, because a lot of people like to connect with people who have similar skills. So if an HR or someone looking at your profile has everything similar to what other candidates require, but if they are into theater and you have that, that would turn to your advantage. I hope that answered your question.
I think that's a great response, Christine. I completely agree with that. You know, LinkedIn is a professional forum. So I think like where you ate and what you did this weekend, that would be more so for the Instagram.
Yeah.
But so for the LinkedIn, yes, I agree. You can add a post because we are human beings at the end of the day. So when HR do visit your profile, they're going to see, yes, all your qualification, all your accomplishments, but you have that personal aspect because you've had that post and because it's adding to and validating your resume by showing you a part of this theater production. So yeah, I think it's a great idea, Dominic. I mean, it could be part of your post. Mustafa would wanted to know, how can I keep relationships after the first meeting? So I'm guessing he means on LinkedIn. I'm guessing. So what is your take on that, Christine?
Yeah, so as I had mentioned a little before, it's important to stay in touch, and that's honestly like the toughest part. But when you have that first connection, I think it's key to let that person know a little more about you, and so they have something to take away, and there's something to remember you by. And right there, ask if you can connect on LinkedIn, or want to connect on LinkedIn, just send a personal note, not just, hey, it was nice to connect with you on LinkedIn, looking forward to staying in touch. Maybe a little more than that. For example, when I first connected to one of my mentors who really helped me a lot in IBM, I wrote to her and I said, it was amazing connecting with you. She was speaking at an event. So I said, this is what I learned from you, and this is how it impacted my life. I mean, impacted my life and my thoughts. And I was so, you don't have to flatter them always, but again, in that, be genuine. And then you stay in touch, or you for example, I know people on Christmas or New Year's, I try to do it, I'm not as good, I wish I was, just send in, hey, happy New Year's or something like that. So staying in touch, informational, asking for informational interviews, all these ways are good to keep the connection going. Liking their posts, if they post something
Yes.
on LinkedIn, liking, commenting, that would be great as well.
I thank you for saying that, Christine, because I was going to say the liking and the commenting, because that keeps your name visual to them
Yeah.
and they'll see your name popping up all the time and it keeps refreshing their memories. And something that people do as well to keep in touch with me is that, and I do the same, is that yes, I comment, but then I send a personal DM, a direct message, and I say, oh, I love that post, I would love to learn more about it, can we set up some more time? So keep asking for more time. I would love to have a chat with you, that sort of thing. So that's typically how I approach it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, so we have another one here. It's been 5 months I've landed. I've done my bridging course. I'm building my network. I'm tailoring my resume, but I still get rejections. I struggle to understand why I was not shortlisted. Any guidance or tips, Christine? So I know you talked about your Starbucks visits and all your applications. So maybe you can just elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, I think in this particular case, it's good. May I know the name of the person?
No, it was anonymous.
Okay, so I was just going to address you, Benny, but whoever typed this off, and I'm sure this would help with the majority of the group as well,
Yes.
is when you know something is not working, you've done everything, it's important to ask for help. So getting another person's perspective would really help. So this was where, when I went to the event I talked about, which was hosted by RBC, the HR told me, hey, you have like so many things. It's not strategic towards what you want to get. It is, where is your niche? And that was, I had not even seen it, right? I was like, I don't need a niche. Like, I can do all of these things. And that was the problem. So getting another person's perspective would help a lot. I would suggest starting with ACCES, going to the consultants. If you have, I know the bridging program, they provide you with a consultant who you could look at your resume with, and maybe ask your consultant if there is someone in the industry they know that you could get connected with, a mentor of sorts. So reach out to the mentor, explain to them what your resume is, and maybe it's the way you're telling your story may not be matching up, or this helps getting different people's perspective into it. So that's something I would highly recommend. Tailoring your resume is, again, really important. Not sure if you have your LinkedIn updated. Have your LinkedIn updated? And I see they have the open to work. Maybe if you could have that on, that would help as well. But networking is, trust me, when I was in that exact shoe, I was out there proactively reaching out, networking, learning from people. And that is what helped me when I was in that point of time. Ria, I think you're on mute.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. And so thank you so much. That's a great response. I completely agree with you. The power of networking. Yes, we're networking in the digital world, but it's just as effective. You just have to keep at it, I think.
Yeah.
Here's one. I think it's more so for ACCES, but you can definitely reach out on their website and take a look at their program offering. But they're asking, her name is Megha, are there any programs for HR coming up at ACCES? I am a recruiter, landed here a month ago and exploring options to start my journey here. So yes, you can definitely reach out to ACCES Employment. Sonia is going to cover that at the end. Thank you, Megha. I have about a decade of experience in managerial roles outside of Canada. Do you suggest I take an entry-level job in my industry to get the foot in the door? I think you have the right approach there. Yes, you would definitely take the entry-level job just to get your foot in the door, and then it's only up from there. You would definitely work your way up. So I think you do have the right mentality there. Do you want to add anything, Christine?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think you should not be hesitant to taking an entry-level role, but at the same time, it's okay to showcase your skills and show what you bring in to the table. And I know people who have climbed up the ladder without going in entry level. So I would say keep both the options open and not stuck on one or the other. You don't know which would open. But I also just have a quick thing before we close. One of the things I thought I missed out is, especially in virtual events, it's, I think, very important, I think, to make your voice known, and so people will know, your thoughts, what you bring to how your thought patterns are, in order to understand or to learn more about you. So I would say never hide from asking good questions. That's one thing that I thought I missed out in this presentation, but that really helps standing out and establishing a name.
Thank you so much, Christine, and thank you for helping me tackle on those Q&A. They were great questions. Again, here is our contact information. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. On here as well, if you scan the barcode, our information populates. Christine is very active on LinkedIn as well. Thank you again, Christine, for being here with us. I enjoy this presentation. I always learn more and more every time, because every time you tweak it. So I always learn more every time. So thank you again. You've been wonderful. Now we'll actually hand it over to Sonia for wrap up. Thanks, Sonia.